welcome back to the beginning of another week. It is March 1st. It's the beginning of week 9. I will say from the get-go that everything that I was supposed to get done in week 8 did not get done. As a matter of fact, nothing got done. I will say that this is kind of the time of year that I'm super anxious. I called this episode Rebirth and Renewal because it's the time where I'm going around the garden and I'm trying to figure out what died over the winter, what's coming back, what's not coming back, what I need to do. And since we just finished dealing with the Storm Neil and Storm Pedro that came through, I'm also like buying supplies to replace things that got damaged or destroyed, and things of that nature. All that being said, I do want to also say that when I set my goals for the week, those goals are on a kind of on a 2-week rotational window. So if I say, oh, for week 8, I want to get X, Y, and Z done. If I get them done by week 10, that is a success for me. I'm not necessarily dead set on getting everything in week 8 done in week 8. I know that I tend to get overwhelmed. I tend to get a bit like ADD, for lack of a better term. Things that are shiny get my attention more than things that I need to do. So all that being said, everything on the list for week 8 did not get done. I did catch up on things from previous weeks. There are still things outstanding from previous weeks that may or may not get done. And that's kind of one of the joys of gardening, is that I can plan, like, in an ideal world, this is all the things I'm doing. And then in reality, I have the time, I don't have the time, things happen. You kind of roll with the punches and do the best you can. And when things fail one year, you always have next year to try it again. So that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy gardening. I will go around and show you what happened for this year. For this week. I am very excited for some of the things that are coming back. So yeah, I'll show you what's being reborn, and kind of discuss what my options for renewal are. Okay, so out in the garden, really nothing much has been going on. I did kind of clear out some space on the arch there. I did trim up my garlic, which was/is suffering from rust, as is the garlic up here. It looks really good from a distance, and now I'd probably be hard pressed to find rust on it, but I have started spraying it every single week to avoid rust coming back, and we are hoping for the best. The shallots are looking really good. We are out of our Persephone period, so we have more than 10 hours of light now, and it's definitely showing up in the growth of the plants. So things that were kind of barely hanging in there during the winter now actually have enough sunshine to get going. I did mention that this is the time of year that I'm super paranoid and anxious about whether or not things are going to come back. So I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I pruned all of my kiwi, all of my little kiwi berries. And you can see, like, this one is coming back no problem. I'll go down and show you some others. I believe most of them are actually coming back. I also, I think, mentioned that I planted all of the daffodils around my trees here. So you can see they are growing in as I wanted, basically in a little circle around the thing. My Balking 14 sterile comfrey is coming back in some of these places, which is also very cool. So yeah, if I walk down the orchard, you'll see that pretty much all of the trees have their daffodils and the balking surrounding them. I do have artichokes on order that are going to be planted in between the trees, but those haven't arrived yet. Some things, like this one, we thought it had died because it looks pretty bad. But then, like today, when I'm showing you, if I zoom in, there's little tiny signs of life up here. So that's really nice. Some of them, like this one here, is going wild and crazy. Like, that's super easy to see. Some of them are definitely doing better than others. Some of the daffodils are coming in better than others. But overall, things are doing well. This one here may have died. Like when I kind of pull it, it doesn't seem to be very well rooted in there, and there isn't any real signs of life on it. So I leave them and kind of hope for the best. But this is one where I probably will have to replace it. So when I look at him, this is a boy. This is a male kiwi, hardy kiwi. And I needed to plant, I planted 2 males. So there's another male somewhere up there that's doing just fine. But I probably will have to replace this male. And then those are the ones that end up fertilizing my females. So this one is another one where we thought it had died, but then here you can see like the little green things here, like it's doing okay. So as this grows in, I might actually trim this down just to clean it up a bit. But in the meantime, I'm just trying to like, I'll pull the grass things out. I'm just trying to keep it sort of weeded. And give it plenty of room to do its thing. But yeah. And then I know I had already mentioned my newest apple is growing back. But here, this is the apple that took forever to go to sleep. And yeah, it did not sleep much this winter because it's already starting to come back. And then if I come back to this one doesn't have much going on, but it is starting to put out little buds. So ideally, all of the trees along here will slowly wake up, but this one down here at the end is definitely awake. And it did also get some damage because it was already awake during our last like mini frost. So some of the leaves are a little funky, but it'll be fine. I brought out the plants that were overwintering in my little room there. So we'll kind of see how they do. Along the north end here, I have all of my like shade loving things. So these are mostly cilantro. I also have some flowers, and eventually I usually plant my ginger back here, but I think I'm going to actually move my ginger this next year. The grapevines are hanging in there. Some of them show signs of life. So like this one, I can get down and kind of like, here's a big bud here and like a little bud there. So it will come back. And I'm hoping the rest come back too. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 grapevines along this row that seem to be doing pretty well. over here. So this is the magnolia that we cut. It was originally living over there. We moved it out to replace it with the olive tree, which is growing right there and doing just fine. But since it had already put buds on from last year, despite the fact that it's not in the ground, it's still producing flowers. So I'm actually harvesting all of these petals and I'm making a magnolia syrup. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but since I have the flowers and they're on the ground, that's what I'm doing with those. Over here, I'll say that in France, eating oysters over the holidays is like a big thing. People do it. So I collect the oyster shells, and then I wash them and dry them, and I will boil them to prepare, basically to like clean and sanitize them, to give them to the chickens. Let's go up to the chickens. Okay, so up near the chickens, I have my little thing here next to the driveway that I have been slowly filling in. I mentioned that I'm on the list. I'm on a wait list for compost because I've cleared out my compost section, and I actually removed a bunch of rocks from this area, which I've relocated to the driveway there. And I will continue to do that because one of the things that I mentioned is I'm going to create a squash tunnel here with materials that are available here. Cattle panels are not a thing here. Don't even suggest them. I just can't get them. But I will be getting an arch-like structure that will go into this area to support my squash. And I'm going to clear out that whole space there, which also has a lot of rocks. And then as I remove all the rocks, they get relocated into this driveway, which is it's a secondary driveway, and all of our big trucks come in this way to deliver the mulch, deliver the compost. Occasionally I get a neighbor to throw some horse manure over in a pile there, but this is sort of the grand central receiving station for stuff. And I'll be using most, if not all, of these partially decomposed hay bales to support the potato row, which will be coming down here. I did get new potato containers. So I have some more of these slats around that I may use, but I've also ordered and received some big like metal hexagon things that I'm going to be putting. I have 2 of them to go in here as well to plant the potatoes. So I know everybody says potatoes are super easy. I've tried to grow potatoes for 2 years and have failed both years. But maybe third time's a charm, and this will be my year. The chickens are doing their thing. Francis's repair to my hoop house seems to be working out pretty well. Nothing's collapsed yet. I did measure the space, and it's about 4 meters on the arch. So I have a tarp on order that's going to be 4 meters across and then 2.5 meters this way. So it should go about to that bar there. And that will help keep the backspace watertight, but since it's going to be transparent this time, the sun can still come through. I do have my little solar panel there, which is actually flipped over the wrong way, and I need to figure out how to turn it back over. That powers these 2 lights, and that is still intact and it still works. However, way on the other side is supposed to be another solar panel to power the extractor fans on the back of the coop, and that is defunct. That panel blew off, and I tried to look to see if I could put it back together again. It's just not possible. So I do have a replacement system coming in to replace the extractor fan there, but it hasn't arrived yet. I do also have an automatic door that I'm going to be putting on their little manual door here that I manually open and close right now, but that's happening. What else is happening? I'm working on a new chicken watering system. So it's sort of partially set up there. The idea is that it comes out here. It will hook in to a bucket system that we will hang from this post. And then basically it'll gravity feed water into these little cups for the girls. I did try the little nipples, and they just didn't like them. And I have a tub over there in the corner, but I have to refill it all the time. So I'm trying to find something that's a little less work for me, but that's still clean and sanitary for them. So I'm hoping that these cups work, and that will be good. The little piece of plastic down there that's covering their pull-out tray seems to be working well. Definitely better than this makeshift big thing that I had to cover the door. Apparently the door is not really where the water was coming in. I do think it was coming in from the tray. But since I've set up the new system, we haven't had any rain, so I haven't been able to really test it. Other than that, things that are happening, I'm doing more seed starting. So some of my seeds are coming out here. Since the greenhouse that we were going to put against this wall got rejected, I'm not even going to get into that, but we are not going to be able to put a greenhouse here, at least in like this year for sure. So I have my tables back. I've started some seeds there. I'm looking at kind of maximizing the shelf that goes along this space to see if I can use that for things. And I might try to create some sort of like makeshift structure that goes against the house that I can put some greenhouse plastic on to create sort of a wannabe greenhouse. Whatever I make here definitely will not look as nice as what we had planned, but yeah, apparently politics and rules and regulations are a thing wherever you live in the country. So even though it would look beautiful to have a nice like timber and plexiglass greenhouse structure along this wall, we've been told no. So now I'm going to have to do some sort of like, I don't know, weird metal ghetto thing, but it is what it is. And yeah, for all you who wonder why your neighbors have ugly structures around their property, it might be because they asked to put something nice there and they were told no. And so then they're just trying to do what they can. But I will leave you with my honeyberries. These are the ones that I'm actually super excited about. I was worried that I had killed them. They looked very dead. Last year they did not grow at all. This one is Borealis, and that one over there is Aurora. So I have Aurora Borealis. They are like partnered pairs to produce pollen and pollinate each other and make berries. And I've since found out that a lot of these like perennial plants tend to do like in year one, they sleep and they don't do anything. And in year two, which would be this year for me, they creep. So I'm hoping that they actually start to grow and produce maybe some flowers or something. And then in year three, which would be next year, they might leap. So it's sleep, creep, leap in years 1, 2, and 3. So this is year 2. We'll see what happens. But that is what's happening there. Other things that are planned. I definitely have to trim the wisterias this week. That will happen. Hopefully we'll be receiving compost that will open up a lot more avenues, because right now I'm pretty much blocked since I have no compost. Mulch is coming in handy. I need to get in here and like fix the fence over there. So yes, there's a lot that needs to get done. It's on my list. I'm working on it. And in the meantime, at least we have some really, really nice weather. There's like all the mustard in that field there. There's all the fava beans around us, like really around this entire space. And I'll leave you with an update of my little apiarium. It's got all its flowers. So I hope you had a good one, and I'll see you next week. Bye.